In the stillness of Alaska's frost-kissed wilderness near Chugach State Park, the wind whispered ancient stories through towering pine trees, soft echoes of nature's quiet resilience. Underneath one of those silent giants, barely visible against the snow, lay a tiny black bear cub. Soaked from the storm, its small body shivered uncontrollably. The cub's fur was tangled, its eyes glossy with fear and tears. The storm had passed, but it had taken everything. Its mother was gone, swallowed by the vast and unforgiving wild. A soft, trembling whimper drifted into the icy air. It was faint, but filled with a sorrow so deep it pierced the quiet. And then, fate arrived. Jack Harper, a gentle soul and local nature lover, was hiking nearby, his boots crunching softly on fresh snow. He stopped. Under a distant tree, something dark and unmoving caught his eye. Cautiously, he stepped closer and froze. There it was, a bear cub, helpless, fragile, and afraid. He hesitated. Even the smallest wild animal can be unpredictable. But as Jack slowly reached out, the cub didn't growl. It didn't flinch. Instead, it whimpered again, then leaned into his touch, burying its little head in his gloved hand. At that moment, something shifted. An invisible thread pulled two souls together, and Jack made a quiet decision, one that would change all of their lives forever. Jack burst through the door, holding the damp bundle against his chest. "Grace Harper? Lily?" Grace Harper appeared first, her eyes widening in shock. But behind her, their daughter Lily rushed forward. Her face lit up like the winter sun. "A baby bear?" she gasped, eyes sparkling. "Can we keep him?" Grace Harper's concern faded as she looked into the cub's eyes, so vulnerable, so innocent. In an instant, he had crept into their hearts. They named him Yuki, meaning snow in Japanese. Jack gently laid Yuki near the stove, wrapping him in soft towels. The fire crackled warmly, and for the first time since the storm, the cub's eyes closed, not from fear, but comfort. Over the next few days, Jack fed Yuki warm milk by bottle, stroking his fur with care. Lily never left his side. She sang lullabies and whispered bedtime stories, staying until the tiny cub drifted into peaceful sleep. A new chapter had begun. Soon, the Parker family built Yuki a cozy wooden pen in their backyard. Each morning, Lily would carry him outside, offering sweet honey and fresh berries on a little plate. Yuki would tumble in the snow and roll in the grass like a playful puppy, chasing butterflies and sunbeams. Jack built a miniature wooden bridge so Yuki could climb and explore. Grace Harper lovingly made warm soups just for him, served in a silver bowl. But Yuki's favorite moment? Belly rubs from Lily. He'd collapse onto the ground, paws in the air, his laughter-like grunts filling the yard. The family's laughter often echoed through the trees. Every night, Yuki curled up in Lily's arms, safe, loved, and home. As Alaska once again blanketed itself in snow, the Parkers kept the fire burning bright. Wrapped in blankets, they would read fairy tales aloud while Yuki listened intently, tilting his head as though he understood every magical word. At first, the neighbors were startled. A bear? In town? But Yuki's gentle eyes and calm demeanor quickly melted their fears. He became something of a local legend, the bear who was more like a brother. Months passed. Yuki grew fast. His sleek black fur glistened, and he stood nearly the size of a German shepherd. Yet no matter how big he got, he still curled up beside Lily like the tiny cub she first met. But Jack knew deep down, this love story couldn't last in their backyard forever. Wild animals, no matter how gentle, were meant for the wild. It was a painful truth. On quiet nights, he and Grace Harper would sit by the fire, whispering about Yuki's future. And finally, with heavy hearts but clear minds, they made a decision, one rooted in love, not fear. They contacted Chugach State Park and arranged for Yuki to be placed in a protected wildlife sanctuary where he could live freely, safely, and among his kind. The day of goodbye arrived like a slow snowfall, beautiful, but cold. They held a small farewell celebration, complete with Yuki's favorite fruits and honey. Lily, dressed in white, hugged him tight, whispering her love into his soft fur. Jack carried Yuki to the transport vehicle. His arms hesitated, reluctant to let go. As the truck began to roll away, Yuki turned around. Standing tall on his hind legs, he raised his paws, waving just like Lily had taught him. Grace Harper turned away, tears silently falling. Lily clutched a photo of Yuki to her heart. It was the hardest goodbye they had ever faced. But real love, it knows when to hold on and when to set free. At the sanctuary, Yuki adapted beautifully. He played with other bears, splashed in rivers, and roamed the open land, wild and free, yet always gentle. But back home, Lily never stopped thinking of him. She wrote letters to the conservation team regularly, asking how he was doing. And every time they replied with good news, her heart filled with warmth. 3 years passed. The little girl was now a young woman, full of grace, hope, and cherished memories. Yet, one wish still lived quietly in her heart: to see her best friend once more. Jack knew, and for her 16th birthday, he planned something unforgettable. On that morning, the Parker family packed up the car, honey, snacks, and Lily's old hand-drawn picture of Yuki. Snow dusted the winding roads as they drove toward the sanctuary. Lily sat quietly, her fingers gently tracing the edges of her faded drawing. When they arrived, a kind-faced guide named Mr. Rowan welcomed them. He had heard their story. Jack smiled softly. "We're here to see an old friend." Mr. Rowan led them along a mossy trail that opened into a wide meadow. Bears roamed in the distance, their silhouettes serene against the morning light. Lily scanned the field, heart racing. And then, there he was. A powerful black bear stepped into view. His coat glistened like ink. His eyes, warm, curious, familiar, met hers. He paused. "Yuki," Lily whispered, her voice trembling. The bear's ears twitched. He froze. Recognition lit his face, and then he ran, a blur of motion. He rushed to her, rose on 2 legs, and embraced her in a powerful, loving hug. A deep, joyful roar escaped his chest. Time stood still. Tears flowed freely down Lily's cheeks as she held him close, her heart bursting with a love that had never faded. Grace Harper and Jack watched, hands clasped over their hearts, witnessing a reunion so pure it brought tears to their eyes too. Lily gently tied her old drawing around Yuki's neck. He nuzzled her shoulder, then playfully nibbled her hand, just like he used to. The family gathered for one final hug, this time with joy instead of sorrow. Mr. Rowan stood quietly nearby, smiling at the kind of miracle only true love could create. As they turned to leave, Yuki stood tall and watched them disappear into the trees. Lily turned, waving through happy tears. "See you again, dear Yuki." And deep in the heart of Alaska, where snow whispers secrets and the trees hold memories, a story lives on. A story of love, of letting go, and of a little girl and the bear who became her family. Thank you for joining us on this unforgettable journey. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support Tales Diaries for more magical stories like this one.